Hello and welcome.
Good evening.
My name is Alex and this is another disaster class from yours truly. I took a hit. I was tempted and these were I told you in my previous video that I would rather roll, but then I got the news about Marmoush that he is benched and it was the right decision to get rid of him. And then I realized that maybe it's Southampton, they just don't have anything to play for. Well, it turns out they have something to play for, not to be considered the worst team in the history of the Premier League. So by holding Man City to a draw, they managed to form better than the previous worst team in the Premier League. I don't know who holds that record. Nonetheless, it was a very frustrating game and Man City had a lot of chances and I decided to get myself a player from City for a hit, and that was a mistake. And as you can tell, Kevin De Bruyne, at his position on the pitch, he pretty much occupied every single spot on the edge of the box for 90 minutes. They had so many shots, and I would say that the setup that they had for the game was a little bit on pep. I don't know. You need to be able to unlock such teams whilst playing multi-billion dollar team against a relegated team already that have nothing to play for pretty much. Nonetheless, 0-0 is the result. Mike Vardy received 6 points, but the problem for this game for me was that all the run game that I had before by not having Palace players while everyone was tripling up on them, they were conceding 5 goals a game. Now, obviously, they play in B team from Spurs, and they are scoring goals. There's assists for Munoz, goals for Eze. I had neither, and I was really suffering in that regard. And I'm outside of 100,000 rank. Not a big deal for me because I saved my free hit. I didn't need to use it before because I didn't triple up like most of the fantasy creators. And pretty much if I look at my mini league and if you look at your mini league as well, you probably notice that so many people are just copying these teams, right? And you're facing pretty much everything that fantasy creators are talking about every week and they're suggesting players, which is not even a bad thing. They're suggesting good players. I just decided to go without Arsenal players who are considering it every game. So I didn't have Saliba, I didn't have Raya for last 8 game weeks. I got rid of them on my wild card, which I played a little bit early than usual. You can see Jose Sa, he saved a penalty for me. I also played him as a starter in this game week too. So it was a very fun obviously now people are selling Arsenal players. I did that a little bit earlier. It was nice, and that helped me propel my rank, of course. But now, and that's why I didn't have to use a free hit earlier, but when everyone was using that. I suffered a little bit of a rank drop, I think. Even in the game week when everyone was using a free hit, I had a green arrow. But this was resulted into me not having the essential players for the game against Spurs, where they delivered, and these were Palace players. Now, though, I'm playing my free hit. So let's reveal the team, and the team starts with Pickford. And I think not conceding against Southampton is a sensible thing to expect from Everton defense, and that's why I'm doubling up. I'm doubling up on Everton defense by getting Mikolenko, who scored in the game against Fulham. Hopefully he just decides to find his scoring form, and I'm happy to have him for this one game week. Obviously they're playing Newcastle away. This is the type of players that having them on free hit is very fun, because you are not... you're saying goodbye to them in a very tough fixture where Newcastle need to win just to ensure that they're keeping their top 4 spot and playing Champions League next season. And then my other player is Cucurella against Man United. This is just a tentative pick. I may just go for something else. But realistically, another defense that is probably good, it could be Aston Villa defense, right? So if I look at someone like Lucas Digne, if I'll be confident that he's starting, at least playing 60 minutes, I may go for him. Getting concise is not that fun. And if Man United are indeed confirmed that they're there's a kind of pressure where Amorim is saying, yes, we are shuffling our team again just to preserve them for the Europa League final. You never know. And that's the problem. That's where I think you need to these players, they need also to get some play form. No, so I think that Man United are not going to be playing their second string team again. They didn't even, maybe the effort wasn't there, but losing to West Ham 2-0, that was very poor. I'm very happy about that, of course, because I had Bowen in my team. And nothing about the Man United team, of course. I would like them to start winning games. But there is a Munoz, another player that I don't have in my team, and I'm very scared. Because that Wolves team, they don't really feel they can't find consistency. And losing to Brighton without a single goal scored, Cunha throwing a tantrum or something like that. And I wasn't really watching the game. I just read some press. Couldn't watch all of the games. I did my best. I watched the game against Tottenham though, and Munoz was very impressive. And you score, I think he had a chance to score and assist as well. So it's a crazy player. And if they are indeed playing here, right? Because there is in between these games for Munoz, obviously they're playing the FA Cup final, and Man City are playing there as well. I think it's just for Munoz, I would just start him if you still have him, and I'm not sure if I can go without him on my free hit. I will be considering that, but McCollum and Pickford, I think these are guaranteed players that are starting for my team on my differential free hit, and differential starts in the midfield, I think, and Palmer is a player that not everyone can go for, just because you can't do unlimited transfers, and I can, and I'll be making sure that I'm getting as much as possible and getting away from every one of yous. Because you use your free hit, and I kept mine. I was very patient, and I'll get all the best players, hopefully. And I've obviously, look, by getting them, I'm jinxing them here officially. That's how it works. Palmer against Man United is a captaincy material. I'm not sure though, again, which type of Man United team will show up. They definitely will need to get some get into the playing shape against Tottenham in the final. They need to obviously get into this final in a positive mood. But Chelsea are playing for the Champions League places, and they lost to Newcastle. They would want to get on the winning track, I think. I'm not sure about Palmer though. He was so poor, and I'm gonna be breaking down the data of these players, whether you need to get someone of them in your team and which one is you should go for sure, I guess. But Palmer is just a differential, I think, and captaining him I think is too much. Rogers, many people still have him. I sold him a long time ago. Kinda regretting because he's always assisting or like scoring a cheeky goal, and it's a nice player to have. Doesn't cost much, so a little bit regretting. But having against Tottenham, player from Aston Villa, not a bad decision at all. Even if Tottenham are playing their main team and they want to win, I think they're still losing. And then we have Shade, and that's another differential that I obviously probably overlooked, but maybe it's just luck. Nobody was talking about him all season, and now finally he just gets into starting 11 in the scoring positions, and he's getting the points. 8 points, 14 points, 11 points in the last 3 game weeks. I mean, it's not sustainable, but you never know. Against Fulham, anything can happen, and that's why I think my captain is Brian Mbeumo. So I think just because Brentford, they're just such a free-flowing team, I don't expect a clean sheet maybe in this game, but I definitely expect a lot of goals from both. And at least a few goals from Brentford. And Mbeumo is on penalties. He's always involved in assisting and maybe scoring himself. And for me, this is an interesting pick. I just want to get Vardy mostly for nostalgia, because I don't really see him scoring like a hat-trick. A hat-trick potential in this game for me is better. So I may just flip-flop and get better instead of Vardy. I just want to have Vardy for nostalgia, and I feel like the most sensible decision is to go for Beta, just because Everton playing Southampton at home. And Beta scored 3 goals against Fulham away. Everton side that isn't really known for scoring more than 1 goal a game under Moyes, and now they're just like playing this free-flowing football. I don't know, it feels like playing against Southampton after such a fantastic result away at home. I feel like they have all the, like, obviously Southampton already, like, they don't need to win or draw another game to like not be considered the worst team in this history of the Premier League. So I guess having Beta makes more sense. Why Beta? And not why I cannot fit them together, because I have Watkins, who is also a captaincy material. Many people are going for Watkins right now. There are so many transfers, and mostly people going for Watkins. Some people are buying Mbeumo or Visa because they didn't have him. They didn't have these players before. Visa is obviously my final striker, and my bench looks like this, which I don't really plan on to. I mean, I may as well just go for Eze. This is just, again, like I'm showing you my team. I want to call it team selection video, but everything will depend on the team news. Maybe we'll get some kind of leaks or information about which players are starting closer to deadline. But if you follow me on Twitter, I try my best to post it 10 minutes before the deadline, sometimes like 5, just because, I don't know, maybe something pops up. There are so many Twitter accounts that are like posting news like so close to deadline. Feels like they're trolling. I mean, that's like 15 transfers. You can't afford this team. You probably want to get someone for this game week and for the game week in 38, because you can't use a free hit. I got you. I think playing Brentford players against the likes of Fulham is a very good idea. And if you didn't have Mbeumo, I think he should be a priority for you, just because he's on pens. You can go for a cheeky differential in Shade. So Mbeumo is positioned over here, and Shade is positioned all over the place a little bit, but when you talk about Chalkbox, for instance, let's take a look at how many shots Mbumo had. 4 shots, very good shots, by the way, and that's where he is on the right side, cutting on his stronger left foot and curling, right? So he should have probably even scored a few times. And when I talk about Shade, I think he scored only 2 shots though, so not a lot of shots, and Visa had a lot of shots, and Visa was supposed to score a goal himself. So the thing is, I think I cannot go without Visa and Mbumo in this game. I feel like it's gonna be a big threat to my rank if I'm not starting them. And I have both of them in my main team. I don't even need to play a free hit to field both of these players. So this is the threat that they posed against Ipswich away, and I feel like it is about the same difficulty for Brentford to beat Fulham at home. In Fulham, they're really deep in their form is like they're not really good, playing good last few game weeks. It started very well for them though. They beaten Liverpool at home. That was pretty impressive, but then just went downhill a little bit. Crystal Palace players, again, we don't really know which players are gonna be starting. You can assume that they don't really... I mean, some people are making like some predictions, right? They win the cup and they'll be starting. Then someone like I don't know, some second string team, just because everyone is gonna be celebrating. They lose and they need to get back into the winning track and like finish season on strong foot. I don't know. It feels for me like a lot of speculation. But when we talk about Eberici Eze, not having him in my team definitely hurt, and he's a bowler. And I just don't. Oh, by the way, what was that shot, Mado? He shot to the corner flag. Doesn't matter because he took 2 shots in the box, scored both of them. And when we talk about Sar, I think he assisted once. He had a lot of shots as well himself. These are very good shots as well in the box. Mateta, unfortunately, he doesn't really get the minutes, but he takes a lot of shots himself. I think some of the goals that he scored were from offside, so they're not even shown here. But he had 4 shots even without these chances. I just think that this is not really a game that we can really like look at and consider somewhat representational what to expect from Crystal Palace. But I feel like when they're playing Wolves at their current form, it's just good to have a player from Palace, and some of you still have them. Good for you. Some people still thinking about getting Bowen, and it's not a bad decision. So for Bowen, he's playing on the right side, cutting inside, and in terms of like shots, Bowen has only 1, and that was a goal. Crazy, insane conversion, and that feels like it's just thing for Bowen every game. Because like 1 chance and he converts him, clinical. And having Bowen in my team was very good, but I don't feel like this team, West Ham in particular, has so many goals in them. Yes, they're playing Nottingham Forest, who conceded 2 to Leicester, but I feel like this is going to be a very cagey game. And that is where getting Bowen, I think you're getting him mostly for that last game week against Ipswich. It's not a bad decision. In my free hit, I feel like there are better players than Bowen. So that's what I'm saying. If I were chasing something, I wouldn't really be going for Bowen this game week. And then we have Man City against Southampton again. Regarding Kevin De Bruyne, these are his shots, mostly outside of the box, but you know Kevin, he usually scores from here, and he took a corner from this side as well. He was supposed to score a goal, and obviously Haaland was there, only 1 shot all game. 1 shot for Erling Haaland against Southampton. They're not playing Inter, it's not Champions League final. This is crazy. I just don't understand, and I feel like this is on Pep. I don't think that players are to blame. You selected these players, you selected this setup, and it just you cannot unlock this team, and it's very weird. And 600 passes compared to 250, 26 shots to 2 shots. But I feel like the players that took the shots, like Akanji took 4 shots, crazy man. Who gave man the permission to take 4 times more shots than your main striker? I don't know. But yeah, maybe these were from corners. It doesn't matter. It was very uninspiring result. They're playing Bournemouth though. Do you have to get a player from Man City? No. Is it a bad idea? Not at all. They also have not a bad fixture at the end. I myself have Kevin De Bruyne and Guardiola after my free hit is no more. So I'm happy that I have him. I will not be getting them. And most of you have only 1 transfer anyway, so you're not really in a position to, I don't know. I wouldn't be taking hits for this game week. This game week just doesn't scream a lot of points. But having a differential in a free hit is very nice. So for Everton, this is where I am actually leaning towards like making amends to my free hit. And this would be in getting better somehow. Is it going to be instead of Visa to go completely rogue differential? Or I'm going to be just saying goodbye to Vardy, Dream, I feel like if Vardy is scoring, he definitely chases that record. He has 200 goals record looming for Leicester, and he may as well just score it. He is on penalties. Unlike Beto, we don't know if Beto is on penalties, probably not. But anyway, Beto against Southampton. I feel like this can be 2 or 3 goals for the team, and Beto can be involved. How many goals Leicester scores against Ipswich? They're playing at home. They definitely score. But like they scored twice against Nottingham Forest. Vardy wasn't involved. So if you judge by form, if you are like getting players, like it can look like you're chasing points, but at the same time, Southampton and Ipswich, they're both equally bad, and that's the reason why they're relegated. But it's just Everton, that the team that is still playing in the Premier League, is playing them. And then on the other hand, it's just 2 relegated teams. It's just going to be a scrappy game. I just don't know about that. And obviously for Leicester, Jamie Vardy, this is his chalkboard. He is all over the place in the game against Nottingham Forest. And in terms of his shots, if you're wondering, was he involved? Only 1 shot all game. It wasn't target, but it's similar to Haaland. That's why I'm not getting, if I were you, I wouldn't be getting either Haaland or Vardy just based off previous results. It's all variants. They may be taking 15 shots in that game, maybe completely different, but I just don't know if this is a good idea. On the other hand, getting someone like Watkins, his heat map, is not a bad idea then. So Watkins, then with the shots, they only scored once against Bournemouth, and obviously also had only 1 shot. But I feel like when they're playing Tottenham, right? So Bournemouth compared to Tottenham, I feel like Villa should be able to score a few goals here. And they're playing at home. Man City playing Bournemouth at home as well. So I just think that Watkins just getting that confidence, he just starts scoring. There is no chance of him getting benched. It looks like he can be on penalties too, because Asensio missed a few. And there's basically nobody to take them, right? So Douglas Luiz left to Juve. There is McGinn can be taking them, I don't know. Tielemans as well could be taking him the penalties, but he's injured. So it could be Watkins is on penalties. And yeah, it feels like he is also a nice selection, nice player to have for the game against Man United. And finally, this game. This is where you cannot really judge, but I feel like when I was watching this game in full, and I really enjoyed the tenacity of Chelsea, and they've shown that they are willing to get that goal, unlucky to concede in the last 10 minutes, but they were actually a better team while playing with 10 men. That's surprising. Palmer had 3 shots, wasn't really that active, but his heat map is actually pretty decent, as you can tell. This is his positioning, pretty decent, especially given that they played with 10 men, wherever attacking. So Palmer as a captain, I wouldn't be going that far, but having him in your team is not a bad idea. For me, I think the transfer, it depends on your team, of course, but if you can field a good 11, I would still roll to do something different in the final game week, and I'll be doing something different. I have another chip left, and that's a bench boost. So my team in the Gameweek 38, and I'll show you that, it will look like this, with 1 transfer available, and I can bench boost. So I can play Alisson against Palace, Jose against Brentford. I mean, I don't see him keeping a clean sheet. And I still have 1 transfer. What I will be probably doing is getting rid of Strand Larsen to Evan Nielsen, because they're playing Leicester. So that would be my transfer. So for the plans in the final game week, I will be playing bench boost, and this is going to be my bench then. Right, Evan Nielsen, let's face it, he's probably starting. Aina against Chelsea. They defensively, they're very poor, so they probably will be conceding. I expect a little bit better defense from this team. So this bench boost, Aina, Livramento, Visa, Jose. Can they get 10 points in between them for me? I might just go a little bit different as well and do the Harry approach, right? I feel Harry did a bench boost whilst taking -8 points hit. It backfired. I think he got a red arrow. But still, the idea is interesting because you pretty much rectifying your bench, right? So you're playing bench boost, you're getting some points there, but you're taking a hit so that you can field like the strongest players. And it feels like this is an alright team to have in the final game week. Yeah, so I still have 1 transfer. I may just take another hit and get rid of like maybe Ait Nouri. But still, or like maybe not even get a goalkeeper transfer, I don't know. This is the plan. And yeah, that's my attempt, my take on this 37 game week. And my attempt on gaining some rank. I was dreaming of top 10k, I think it's not happening. My goal is just probably to get somewhere like top 100k and then build from there in the 38, because bench boost will probably help me get some kind of edge. I mean, I'm expecting nothing than green arrow, but you never know. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next.